George Kilpatrick, Inspiration for the Nation. We are pleased to be joined by Dustin Czarny. He is one of the two election commissioners in Onondaga County. He is a Democrat, and he is here to talk to us about a process that all of us, some of us, can participate in, which has to do with the redistricting maps that are being drawn right now, or will be drawn, and how you can be a part of it. Fair elections, because we want to make sure that there's a fair process in this. And so, Dustin, so glad that you could join us. Tell us about this redistricting and how people can be involved in this process.
Yeah, it's a great process. So the city of Syracuse over the last couple of years has enacted a charter change in their charter, which mandated that all of their redistricting that's coming up is done by citizen-led independent redistricting commission. So now we're in the thick of it. We're
Mm.
getting applications from citizens across the city to be part of this redistricting commission. And then once the application process is over, 8 people will be chosen at random, and then they will choose another 7 people from the pool of applicants for a 15-person commission of just citizens drawing our maps. No more politicians choosing their voters. The citizens will choose the districts and make them look and and make sense for the neighborhoods that we live in.
And we're talking about districts that are in the city itself, or are we talking about legislative districts for the state and Congress as well?
Unfortunately, just for the city of Syracuse did this. The county of Onondaga had a chance to do it as well, but the legislature and mostly the Republicans on the legislature voted that down.
Mhm.
They have a separate redistricting process that is based on who controls the legislature, partisan wise, and the voters will have to choose whether they feel like that's a good thing or not.
So, so
But
for yeah, we're talking about the city, and we're
yeah,
talking about like council districts. We're talking
yes,
about at
just the
large.
count, the 5 district councils that we have on the Common Council. They have those lines have not been changed in 20 years.
Mhm.
They're way out of whack. And when the census data comes in later this year, we're going to change those. So for the 2023 elections, we'll have districts inside the city that probably look a lot different than they do today.
Sure, sure. And so, to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to participate, what are the deadlines for being a part of that process?
You have to apply by March 31st, so the end
Okay.
of this month. If you
Hmm.
go to fairmapcny.org, it's the quickest way to get to the application, or you can go to syrgov.net and go to the city auditor page. Um, and what's great about this application, you can do it all online. It takes about 10 minutes. It really helps you walk you through the process. And then you can check afterwards at the city auditor website and see that your application was received, whether you qualify, and whether you'll be a part of that initial pool that they'll choose those random people from.
And what will you have to do once you are selected?
Once you are selected, you'll be part of this 15-member panel, and they'll have about a dozen meetings between now and the end of 2022 while they get these maps in place. And they're going to take public input. You're going to draw the maps based on the census data. You're probably going to have some input on, getting a mapping firm that will help you do this. And then after those 12 meetings, you'll vote and have maps, and it'll be your vote that chooses it. The politicians cannot choose the maps. You have to do it.
So, and when will the new lines be in place for elections?
2023, those elections. So it's we're not even going to get the census data until September of this year. So 2021 is impossible. It's going to be 2023, and then it'll be in place for another 10 years.
So and so it will give the persons who are in the current configuration of what that is, they'll eventually may or may not have to run in the different district than where they are now. Let's say if I'm in district number 1 and it looks this way now, but and of course they run every 2 years anyway. So, or is every 4?
Well, And you're actually barred. This commission is barred from making decisions based on incumbents' residents. You
Really?
have to make it based on what's good for the citizens overall. And I think
Mm.
it's a better system. It's the first process like this east of the Mississippi. So the city of Syracuse is really making history for New
Really?
York.
Oh,
Yeah, and the whole people are watching us all up and down the East Coast because it is really taken hold out west. People love it when they draw these maps. We have more competition, better participation in elections, and I think when Syracuse leads the way, we're going to be able to see other communities do this down the road.
yeah. I think that this is an important process. I said every 2 years. The district councilors run every four, don't they?
No, no, every two.
That's what I thought. Okay, I had that right. I was like, I thought I had that right.
The
And you,
at-large counselors that
right,
go citywide, they're every four.
every four. Okay, that's what I thought. Now, you have to be a city resident, I'm assuming, right?
That's right. You do have to be inside the city. You have to have voted in 3 of the last 5 elections. You have to be an active citizen to have to participate in this.
All right, so fairmaps.org or
Fairmapcny.org.
fairmap or maps.
Maps. Fair Maps with an S.
Fairmap.
CNY.org.
We'll have the link for you, fairmapscny.org, to get your application, which is due by the 31st. You can be one of 15 members to decide how the district lines for the 5 district areas in the city are drawn. If you want to have
That's
your
correct.
voice heard, get your application in. Needless to say, we all know that our voices are important as part of this process. So make sure that you get your application in, and then we know that it's a random selection, but if there's a lot of folks to be randomly selected, your chances of getting selected improve substantially. And then there's some work you got to do. And so we want to make sure that your voice is heard and that you're involved. Fairmapscny.org to apply to be one of the 15 people who will help to redraw the district maps for the city of Syracuse. And you have to be a city resident and have to have voted in 3 of the last 5 elections. They don't have to be consecutive. You just had to have 3 of the last 5. So
Right. And there's a lot of information on our website about how we got to where we are. So check it out. It's a lot of great stuff.
it's a lot of great stuff, and we want to make sure that that great stuff is on it. All right, Dustin Czarny, he's the Democrat Elections Commissioner for Onondaga County. Dustin, thanks for joining us. Inspiration for the Nation.
Thank you so much, George.